McLaren and Alpine have probably the most important years of their actual team's success in 2023. While Alpine has that plan of going 100 races before they get a win or getting 2 wins, and McLaren is still building that wind tunnel, 2023 needs to be a great year for both these teams to actually see where they stand within really the top teams and can they actually get to the top teams. So McLaren revealed their car and livery, and I do like it. I don't think it's that bad. It is an improvement from last year just by the slightest bit, but it is. The car isn't bad. I do like that it's like named MCL60, kind of a little bit of a change up. But speaking of the car, they are not happy about it though. McLaren reports have came out that even Andrea Stella, Lando, Norris, everybody's speaking about the car. It's weird when you hear this almost like pessimistic nature in the McLaren garage. It does not seem like they did what they wanted to do with the car, and there are reports already that they are planning an upgrade to fix the MCL's problems in Baku, which is a far way away. We do know that there's a big gap between the 3rd and the 4th race, and that will be the 4th race, which I'm telling you, there's a lot of time to actually get to Baku. We can definitely see that the McLaren is kind of inspired off of really the Red Bull car. It looks very close to it, and the side pods are very similar to the Red Bull car. If you look at it even from an upper view, the car looks very similar to Red Bull. But enough about the car, there's not really too much to speak about it. It's almost the same car as 2022. A couple of add-ons, nothing really that I can really tell you about that will make this car be all laser. But let's see what ends up going on with McLaren's car and if these reports continue to be bad. Let's see how testing goes. Obviously, that isn't going to be the most accurate of results for the whole entire season, but let's see where McLaren stands. Because last year they were good in testing and ended up failing in the first race. So obviously testing doesn't mean very much for really any team. It's to see how good their car is. The driver lineup, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. To me, if McLaren fails this year, even with Lando coming out and saying, listen, I'm in for the long run, I want to see this project through, who's going to stick through a project if they keep failing over and over and over again? He has been with this team now, is it his 4th or 5th year going into it? And he is trying to get this McLaren team to a top winning team. Lando Norris is a talent that should not be wasted. A Ferrari seat, a Mercedes seat, if that was to open up for any reason, why would Lando Norris not jump into that seat over McLaren, who might be a couple years later down the road? It is important that McLaren executes this season. For Oscar, he's coming in, and I really like what Ricardo says, ignorance is bliss. Oscar Piastri is coming in with no real knowledge of an actual F1 car. Sure, he was in that Alpine for a lot of practices, but that doesn't really give you a race to race type knowledge and how the car is going to perform in qualifying. He wasn't extracting the most possible out of the car. So to keep Oscar Piastri on for a long time, McLaren's got to also stick it to him. Listen, this guy, if he's great, like everybody's saying he is, he wants to be in a top winning team as well at some point. For Lando Norris' sake though, McLaren has to perform. Moving on to Alpine, who just revealed their livery and it practically looks just the same. It's okay. I mean, I'm not too huge on it. They added a lot more black to the back, and it's all right. That's all I gotta really say. It's kind of the same thing as last year. I didn't like the car last year. I don't like it this year either, so it'll probably go pretty low on my tier list, which is coming out tomorrow. The story with Alpine and how I think their 2023 season needs to be in comparison to really McLaren, because those are the two teams that I think will compete closest with each other. Aston Martin will also be there, but I think ahead. But regardless, for Alpine, they also need to execute this season and show that the move with both Ocon and Gasly works. This teammate pairing needs to work together to actually get that car to the performance level that Alpine is shooting for. 100 races before they can start getting like constant wins and actually be in the championship. I think that's a pretty stupid goal. They need to just be on it right away and not set out goals so far ahead. They need to be aggressive. They need to have that tone. This is what Fernando Alonso was talking about. The team needs to be serious and not content with keeping a 4th or 5th place. Every team needs to speak as if they're going for the championship. You need to have that really not humble mentality when you're in Formula One. Like the drivers say, like everyone really says, it's a relative sport. So if you're operating more than the other team, you could catch up to the team. Vice versa, you can also lose out a lot. Alpine has to step on the gas. Both teams really need to step on the gas. I was actually listening to a podcast by Tomo, which probably most of you know, and he was speaking about, he used the comparison as, if a chef brings you the food and says, oh, this isn't my best work, what are you going to think of the food when it first comes out? You're going to be like, why'd you give it to me then? Same thing with McLaren, and same thing with, I think, Alpine most years. It's almost as if they claim like, oh, listen, we'll get them next time. Like, you're trying to go for it now. You fail, but at least you tried. The contentness kills me for both McLaren and Alpine, and I would really love to see both these teams step it up. Because listen, who wants to only have Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull the top teams? Why not the whole grid be close? Why not have at least like 6 or 7 teams in it? I mean, I am thinking completely outside the box, but Alpine has been a strong team for a very long time, or Renault itself. They deserve to be with those top teams. They've proven themselves in Formula One, the sport, multiple times. McLaren as well. Both teams need to really step it up this year, and 2023 is as important, if not the most important year for both these teams to really signify, is it possible for them to get back in those top teams? The lineups, the cars, they should be there. With these two lineups that both McLaren and Alpine have, I think it's a big possibility that they can actually go really far with these lineups. What are your thoughts on both Alpine and McLaren? I mean, like, they are very similar, and I thought that a video together makes the most sense for them. Please leave your thoughts down below. Please leave a like. Comment down below what you think of. I want to hear your guys' opinions completely. Subscribe. It would mean the world, and peace.